Here.
Keith Lloyd absent, Sarah Black. Here. Joyce absent, and Steve Shoemaker.
Here.
Okay, trust everybody's had a chance to review the minutes. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
First,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, we'll move right down to department heads. Eric?
Okay, and we kind of touched on it, but officially, that fire engine is at, wherever, I don't know the name of the place, getting repaired. We expect it to be back towards the end of the month. So, to be determined. I got an email from this Hook Security. Is that our people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that is-
for the IT.
Yeah, I didn't open
Yeah.
it, but I didn't know if
That
that was
is-
ours or not.
If it comes from Hook Security, that's through ESI. And
Okay. We had a fire chief die in Dark County last week. His viewing is tonight, funeral tomorrow. So that's kind of interfered with a little bit of stuff. Just more of the same, 48 years old, just had a seizure and died. I don't know. Kind of weird. I didn't get the report. My guy didn't get my report done for last month. So I'll try to get that to you as soon as I get that done. I do have a need for access to CCD fund or something. I think we did something with some radios early in the spring. Well, apparently all of our radios have to be updated to do this P25 authentication, or they will no longer be able to access the radio towers. It's the estimate to get all of them up is $25,400. Or I can buy brand new ones for about $100,000 or more. They're pretty expensive, but yeah, it's 25. That's to put some encryption code, and a board has to go in there. And it's even above my head what that means, but without this, it's called link layer. Without it, it won't be able to get on the tower, and they'll be paperweights.
is that all of the radios in the city, or do we gotta do this for public utilities and for police?
I think it's just ours. The police probably has to do them too, because it's to access Dark County's towers. I don't think it's to access the IPSC tower or Randolph's. So this that I sent him was just all of the fire department's radios. So I'm sure the police is gonna have the same thing.
Just not as many radios.
They just don't have as many radios. So that 25 is gonna end up being 35.
This is, but this is Dark County? Or is
This
access
is-
Dark County, or is this?
A software that allows us to access the Dark County, which is the Marks radio system.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, this is a copy you can have. It's just an estimate of the stuff. And I can't remember that Kent we used the last time. It was Lloyd Public Safety or
No, it's a CCD money,
yeah.
but I think we have to give this at least a meeting to consider that. We need to talk to Mark and to Brad.
Yeah.
I don't know if the utilities actually accesses the Marks tower.
I'm not sure if they do or not. I know they've all gone through that programming process, but I don't know what they can communicate with or not.
Yeah. I don't
What's the time frame on this as far as deadline? Do they give you any
Now?
indication of when that would?
We've been working with Dark County EMA, and fortunately they're doing all the programming for free. So we're saving a lot of money there because J&K charges for everything they do. But they cannot program the link layer until we have this upgrade in the radio itself, which has to go back to J&K, and that's what that is. I'll find out what the timeline is. I thought originally it was July 1st, but here it is in September, and we're still able
We're
to use
still
them. So
operating.
they might have moved it to January 1st, because if everybody's got to spend $20,000 to upgrade the radios,
Yeah.
that shit don't grow on trees.
Okay.
Well, I think we need to communicate with Mark and with Brad and find out exactly who's using what and what needs to be done and do
So
it
that-
once out of
Yeah.
CCD and be done. Because it's all about interoperability and communications.
So we can, I think that's, so you'll make that, do those, orchestrate that? Okay.
Is that a copy of the invoice?
That's a
Or-
copy of the thing. Yeah, I have the original. That hold on to. That's all I have.
That's all you have? Okay. Well, we'll, like I say, Steve, we get that together, and then we'll see where we need to move forward here.
I'll follow up and check on the timeline and see what.
Yeah, if you could follow up, if you get into where there's any risk of falling out, let us know too.
And I think we still have funding in CCD, if I remember right. Amy, is that correct?
I'd have to take a look at it,
Yeah,
this-
I'm pretty sure I just looked at that and I think there's still money in there. Do you know anything about this? On the radios, having to download or install link
The
layer?
link layer.
Do you know what your estimate is to do that for the PD?
We already did it.
Well, you already did.
All your radios are compatible with that.
When they came and touched him the first time around, we had to put it on there.
Okay, so PD's already done. Do you know if public utilities have that or need that ability at all?
They wouldn't need it.
Because that's just for
Just
marks,
high.
isn't it? And they don't use the marks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when they came and touched the radio, they offered us a deal. I mean, that was at the beginning of '24. And they offered us a deal when they came to do it, you know what I mean? Like they were touching them anyway, so we just had them.
And that was just the PD radios? Okay.
Because that's when we had to get rid of a bunch of the Motorola stuff that we had because they weren't.
They couldn't be compatible, you couldn't upgrade those.
Well, then we'll,
Yeah, unfortunately, the ones that we have that are Ohio radios, those have that
They're already on the,
stuff. The link layer, the county can put on it, but they can't put it on there unless it has
unless
this,
it has the hardware.
the hardware or whatever. And Ohio radios already have that when they bought them a couple of years ago. Ours don't.
We actually swapped a bunch. That was right before
Yeah.
we did anything with collaboration.
Yeah.
We knew
So-
it was coming and we had to switch radios, so, who's the guy down there, Tech, down in Richmond, Tech Electronics?
Oh, I've never used that.
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't know.
the initial round of radios that we bought were not compatible, and we had only had them for like maybe a year and a half, so he more or less bought them back, because he had some Indiana people he could sell them to, and got the Vikings instead. And then when they came, they were link layered and done.
so we'll confirm the money and then we'll do it
Okay.
at the next
Okay.
meeting.
How much are they trying to charge?
Well, J&K does ours. It's 25,000 for 28 radios, I think.
They must have to update all the firmware and software.
They do. Because Dark County can put the link layer on, but they can't until it's got the right firmware in it or whatever.
That's why we did the math and it was cheaper for us to buy brand new radios. I mean, I think, like I said, the radios are like a year and a half old. So you look at the value of the radio compared to what you were paying, and you're almost paying as much for a radio to put the software on. That's why we got, Tech took them back, because he could sell them to people in Indiana, because they don't have link layer. And then we purchased out new Vikings with the software on it when it came.
Does this include the mobiles?
Yeah, it's the mobiles and the portables and It's every radio that I have.
Okay. Well, let's look at the appropriation line, then we'll,
25 grand for 28, so you're like, what?
well, it's actually,
The number is 28, and then below that it says 21, because only 21 of them need that piece, so the total's like 28.
28,000
20, no, 25,000, yeah.
for 20.
It's
So
under
you're
1,000
over
per
$1,000 a radio.
Yeah,
But new radio is $2,500.
Yeah. We just offset it. Like I said, we offset it with selling back. So it ended up, you know,
So are they still, like, is that place still buying radios?
I don't know if I don't know. I think he felt bad because he sold us the radios
Oh.
and thought that they were going to be compatible, and then when it came down to it, they were not. So that's why they kind of, I think he was kind of took one on the chin for us. But I mean, I'm sure he sold them, you know, got a little bit out of them.
Yeah,
But it offset the cost for brand new radio.
yeah.
okay.
okay. Okay, so that's it. Eric,
Who's that do?
Mark,
I gotta check and see. I thought it was July 1st, but
Yeah, they keep,
okay, Mark? You have anything?
I don't think Oh, the vehicles, do we need to surplus the ones out there, or like, what do we need to do
For,
to get rid of the car, the junkyard we have out there?
if we've got the title in hand, I mean, if you can run them through the same, what was it, gov deals? Is that what you said of? I mean, I don't see any reason why those couldn't
No,
run through it. The ones that were kind of taking it on the chin is the ones that Citizens still has the loan on, those two
The Tahoe and
vehicles.
the Charger that's left.
Yeah.
you know what kind of balance we have on,
Yeah, it was
A lot.
like 31. It was a lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was probably the worst purchase ever.
Honestly, I don't know how they approved the loan. I mean, I wouldn't have thought they would have held that much value for it, but
Because there are only two vehicles, right?
yes,
Chevy
on that.
Charger and that
The
Tahoe.
Tahoe.
Because the
Tahoe.
others, we just got the titles back
Or the
on.
Tahoes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
on
through a
those.
decent lease program. This
Yeah,
loan was forever.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's through 28, if I remember right.
Do you know how many cars are sitting out there?
All of them.
I mean, is
What
it
do you
six?
I think there's a black Tahoe and the Charger that are on the loan.
All right.
We're still using the Tahoes. They're kind of like, we're not like putting them, they're not like first out
Yeah.
for anything, but they're still getting used as backup.
We got 3 Explorers?
Probably 3 or 4
Fords.
Explorers. And I don't know I know one is toast. The
So
one that blew up is out there.
So,
I would make a motion to move to excess equipment. Whatever Mark identifies as being able to do that, plus 2 pickups that are sitting in the yard at the South Howard Street location.
I don't think we'll need to surplus them no matter what if we put them on gov deals and just be done with it
Yeah, that's,
and sell it. I think we only get into the thing of surplus and if we're gonna like scrap it. But those cars ain't, I mean, those are scrap, but I think someone will still, someone
no,
will
it's
pay a
surprising
little
what
bit
the,
for them. Yeah, figure that out.
yeah, the Neely boys will buy them.
I guess we're gonna have to figure out, the problem is putting the other, I mean, we have to,
yeah, to offset the cost. I just got an email, I've been waiting for 2 of them from Enterprise to get back with me on, because they said, well, we'll have to give you an invoice to offset one out, so I'm still waiting. But, in the meantime, I was wondering, you know, do we want to use that money? You know, if they're not gonna be able to really work that much, do we want to apply it to those citizen vehicles? I mean, it's something to,
yeah, I
you know,
don't know.
whether,
Well,
But
so,
like I said,
so
that's
you've
clear up
got
to 2028.
the two Tahoes that are, what, 21s, 22, something like that. Did you say where do we stand on those? Are we,
Those are, we just got the titles.
so we've got the titles
like a
on
week or
those. So
week
are
and a
you
half
going
ago.
to get, are you gonna sell those off? Because those two would definitely pay for, those two should bring enough money to pay off the loan on the two that we owe on.
Yeah, as
Because
of
those
last
Tahoes will
week,
bring pretty
yeah.
good money.
Yeah.
Those will bring good
I
money.
think Enterprise valued them at like 40
Yeah.
is where they
So
were at.
really,
when we
yeah,
started it, so
yeah. So those two will bring pretty good money, so that would be,
I think it'd be a high end. You can get them on state bid for like 50, so
yeah.
55, depending, but they're lit. I mean, they got lights.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say if somebody, if they're fully equipped, then that saves you 10 grand.
I mean, those vehicles aren't operable. One, both of them are gonna need a lot of work, the ones that are.
Sitting up there.
The, you
On-
talking
on the
about which
Citizen.
ones, the Tahoes or the
The black
the
top,
black-
I mean, the ones we owe
the
on,
one, well, yeah.
they're not worth whatever that balance
Yeah.
is.
No, but we're not,
I don't
I mean,
even know how
that's
that was
the,
done or why it was done. That was awful.
that was,
I mean, that was
Yeah.
two used cars
Yeah.
at premium
yeah.
at a huge
Well,
percentage.
and I tell you, one of the things that happened with that, was at a time where we probably made we were trying to get to take-home cars for everybody, assigned cars, at the worst time you possibly could because there were no cars available. And so we really probably made a bad purchase based on that we wanted to do that instead of saying, yeah, this isn't a good time. We did it.
Right.
And that's, because we paid pretty good money for both of those.
Because that was October of 2022, when,
And I think we
so it's
paid-
a 6-year loan.
yes.
And I think, well, and, because it was, I know what it was, that's what fit in the budget. It's about like buy here, pay here. But I know that's what we were doing, I remember that's what we were doing, and I think that Charger we paid probably 15 grand for, and that
I
wasn't.
mean, you'd be
and-
stretching to get a brand new car last 6 years,
Oh, yeah,
a cop car.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, Amy, if you can send me the balance
Yeah.
of what,
Yeah, I can do
of
that.
what it is, and then that way I can at least put a reserve on to try to offset it. I think 40 might be shooting pretty high on the Tahoe, but.
Yeah, but if you got 30 out of the Tahoe,
Right.
there's your money to
Right.
be able to release the others.
Where are we at, you said?
The last week when I printed this off, the payoff, estimated payoff was 30,516 and some change. So, I mean, you know, it's in that bulk, but yeah, it's still,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
But, so,
I mean, we're
so
just
one of
ahead.
those other Tahoes would pay those two off and release them, and then at least that allows you to go through the whole process and get,
Yeah, I
Get the
mean,
money
once we
free.
get the cleared titles.
we know we're gonna get killed on this,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
a certain degree. We knew that when the whole started the whole process. If you're in a vehicle like that personally, you just drive it into the ground.
Right.
You wouldn't, you just drive it till it quit running. It's a little
Yeah.
harder to do on a police
So,
car to drive it till
We
it
do
quits.
or we don't need a motion if you go through gov deals?
We won't have to surplus them, because I think we need permission
Yeah.
to do it, but they don't
I
need
thi-
surplus. I think surplus
yeah.
is when they're less than a certain amount.
Yeah,
But I think we need a motion to get them
yeah,
listed.
I would agree.
So moved.
First, we have a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Let's make sure we pick up the two pickup trucks and the,
Yeah,
At the street.
is Brad,
So
is
what,
he in charge of all
what
that?
pickup trucks, which ones
the
are you?
red one that was at wastewater and then the one that was used by the water department
Ford
for
2000.
meter reading.
10 Ford.
It's pretty automated. I mean, you just put the VIN in it, it kind of fills out the
Yeah.
rest for you, so it's pretty easy.
I think it's a 2010 F-150.
But I'm gonna need pictures and all that stuff.
Well, they're down there readily available, so I'll get you whatever you need.
I can just tell me to take a picture.
I said I would get you
I got
whatever
it.
you need.
I read between the lines, Steve.
Okay.
it.
I think the Tahoes will, I mean, we're just gonna have to eat it, I guess.
Well,
There's not that much value out there in that loan. I mean, we might as well get out of it and quit paying the interest.
That's kind of what I was
yeah,
thinking.
you're gonna have to stop the bleeding,
On, I mean,
basically.
as long as it's getting an invoice
Yeah.
from Enterprise just to, because I'm still sitting on the 85 that was approved to wait
You
for
can't
them
just
to.
apply it to the principal of what we already know we owe.
They have to give me an invoice, they said. So, yeah, because if I just give it to them, you have absolutely no idea where they're gonna apply it.
Yeah. I know Brittany did it. I wonder if she'd be able to show you what they gave her. Because
Well-
they did, we sold the one car from the Ohio side to the school for like whatever, and we took that balance and it went directly onto our,
And you may have had less vehicles
yeah.
on there.
I
too.
just know they put it on the principal because it adjusted our, what we pay a month or whatever.
Took your payment down.
significantly.
Yeah, because it sounded like it was Sam and whoever, there was another person working with them, and
I
they were
quit
both
calling.
out last
I let
week.
Brittany take care of it because
So, yeah,
I was over it.
Well, the reality of it is, no matter how you do it, you're gonna take the net of the sale of all the vehicles minus the payoff on the loan, and that's gonna be your
yeah.
application principal, so.
Will they need to make a motion to move that money over and pay that loan off, or just do it?
Thought we already did that.
Well, we just approved the
To
moving
get
the money
listed.
to put on the principal on the cars. We may have to do that through council just to
I was gonna
do
say,
that once you get
I
it.
was gonna, you're gonna have to reappropriate the funds, right?
Yes,
I have to wait till it's sold so you know what the dollar
Yeah,
amount
yeah.
is to reappropriate.
Well, I'm just, I don't want the budget to look like, you know what I mean?
well,
We're gonna
yeah,
have to pay for it out of the police department, but the money's not going to the police department. It's
Yeah.
going to the general fund, so it's gonna look really
yeah, we've
lopsided.
known going in that, I mean, and they need to remember
Yeah.
that it's gonna have to be reappropriated, there's just no other way.
Right, to
Yeah,
accept it.
no,
Yeah.
that won't be a stretch for the council to move
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they understand it, I
It's-
think.
Yeah,
Well,
Don't think they're.
almost everybody will understand.
Yeah.
Don't think they're just reappropriating
yeah.
40 grand, you know?
Yeah.
We're giving them more money.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be clear that it's moving your asset into a different category, basically, what it's all amounts to, so. Okay, is that all you have?
That just makes our bottom
Yeah.
line look awful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
Right.
out of whack.
It's like real bad.
yeah. Okay, Kyle?
He's got 3 properties. One has already been condemned, 428 North Plum. I'm just asking that we actually remove it from condemnation. This is the one that they had the sewer ladder on the back that was leaking, that we condemned. They have made the necessary repairs. There's a picture. Rob at wastewater approved it. He said everything's good. It's been repaired to satisfaction. So, and you can actually see they're actually making repairs on the home as well, putting new siding on and stuff. So, as occupants, they're doing an excellent job to make efforts to make it better. So, I propose we remove it from condemnation and let them keep working on it.
Okay.
So moved.
Got a first on that motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great.
Okay, thank you.
Nice to get good news for you.
Yeah, I know. It's been great. So, and then the next one is going to be an actual proposal for a condemnation. 712 North Howard Street. This property is vacant. The owner actually moved out probably a few months ago to Winchester. When he was living in it, I'm sure it was in pretty bad shape, but it's definitely meeting some of the standards for the, or not meeting the standards for the minimum housing. Roof's in bad shape. It's got soft spots, mixed matched shingles, holes in some of the soffit area. It's just definitely dilapidated, and I think it's going to continue to get worse. His goal after speaking to him was to sell it. I did forward his information to an investor to see if they'd be interested in buying it, so maybe that'll work out. But with him not living there and really not showing much interest, I feel it's best that we go ahead and condemn this to ensure that he doesn't try to rent this out to someone
Yeah.
and just let him live in those conditions. he hasn't really been keeping up on the yard work as much, and
So he has no intention of, coming back to this property.
it did not.
Is it 712 North Howard?
712 North Howard. And I actually spoke to him probably right after he moved out for an ordinance violation, and at the time he said, yeah, I'm gonna work on it, try to clean it up and sell it, and then I checked with him last week and he hasn't done anything with it, so.
Yeah.
I gave him a little bit of time to kind of show good faith that he would do something, and he did not, so I propose we would condemn this one.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion for condemnation on this. on
So
712
moved.
North Howard.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor? Aye.
And as always, if somebody buys it, if they want
Yes.
to renovate it, if they want to restore it, then
Yep.
Yes.
we'll work with them.
Yep, and I explained that to the investor, that if she does buy that, let us know, and we'll do what we can to help them as they're trying to make it look better, so. And this last one, has been an issue for, I'm sure, years. It's 340 South Columbia. It is a apartment complex, upstairs apartment, downstairs apartment. Previously, the tenants that lived there, we had several violations for junk and debris in the yards.
Is that breath or
Yeah.
breath?
Yes. He has since moved out. That property has no active water right now. After checking to see, it's got at least approximately $2,000 in debt to the water service bill. I spoke with Russ's spouse or girlfriend. They moved out. They couldn't afford the water bill, so they have no intentions to pay it. And since then, the owner, I spoke with him last week and claims he's trying to sell it on lane contract unofficially to this gentleman. But since then, he has allowed some young 20-year-old kids that'll be living there with no water. There's a concern for the property itself and how it's starting to,
Like kids.
not young kids, they're all over 18. So
Who's the owner on that one?
the owner was Nathaniel Durham. So
Oh, my God.
he was unaware that there was no water, and he was unaware that there was that outstanding balance. He's just trying to get out from under it.
So there's people that are living there right now?
In the upstairs apartment, I handed this notice to
Nathan lives down in Caroline.
a guy there that's living there now. He's probably 20, 21 years old. So I told him, I said, you need to get out of there. We're going to be doing an eviction and yada yada because you have no water.
Have you went inside?
No. I would imagine.
I bet it's knee deep in shit in the shit
Yeah.
in the bathtub.
Yeah, all I've
I
done
think
is.
water quit running, so they just started pooping in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I can imagine.
It's awful.
I can imagine. This is based on the exterior inspection. I can imagine the interior's not as.
It's bad.
So,
So the person that's living there knows that it's about, that they need to find
yes,
it.
I gave him
place
this
to live.
exact notice and told him, like, you guys be prepared to be leaving. I said preferably within 10 days. I said, if not, we're going to go ahead and file for an eviction. But I would propose this one be under the emergency since there's no water and it's a major health concern. That we go ahead and do it under the emergency ordinance, so that way we can get this boarded up and get them out there. So,
Okay.
So moved.
Okay. Got a first and a second, all in favor? Aye.
That prevents them from renting, right?
Yeah,
yes.
It should,
Yeah.
technically.
but
Yeah,
Because that's been it's
Yeah.
been years of.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody down on
Yeah.
Mulberry that I see on Facebook already in
Oh, yeah, that one's,
condemnation.
that one's been condemned for months now.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, we got that one.
People just
cleaned
don't
up.
understand, we can't speed that process up.
No. No, that one's,
Well, that's the dilemma is that we have a long line of houses already condemned, and just because a few people holler about it, they think, oh, why aren't you tearing this down?
Give me
Okay,
money.
wait in line. It's-
that is all.
Okay,
all I
all right,
have.
great.
good job. Thank you, Kyle.
Okay. All right.
I do have a couple of adjustments.
Yes. Anyway,
The first one, there was a pipe leaks in the basement. The second one, she let a neighbor use her garden hose to water her tomatoes, and they left the hose on, she never checked.
She said it was like a lake when she walked out,
Oh, jeez.
so it's
Yeah.
very expensive tomatoes.
Yeah. Did you have anything?
The only thing that we need to discuss is the Scott Byron situation.
Yep.
Should we go to the side?
Amy, did you have anything else?
Beyond,
Just on beyond agenda?
yeah, just
What we got there?
wanted to make sure the board knew we were thinking about rewriting that fuel
Oh, okay.
agreement. That was the fuel agreement with the school. Yeah.
I did have one other thing. Did you bring that lawsuit notification?
Yes.
Yeah, we weren't aware that we were victims. Mark may be able to expound on this, but just so you guys are aware, we were
Received this morning.
received notification this morning in the mail that we're victims of a crime in Harbor Park. Trespass and
Oh, the guy living in the bathroom.
paraphernalia or something, so my guess is it won't actually go to court or anything, but
You don't have to, I think they're required to send that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's all I got.
Okay. Uh, So, we had the dump, we have to continue on I guess we didn't do it as old business, but you've got once you got budget item review, I assume that's the best way.
Yes. I noticed that after I left Best Way off of that, but you know, that was on that Best Way.
And I didn't sit and write down and do all the math. I was trying to, sorting through there. There's a significant number of dumpsters that are at the street department. Probably, I think just on the invoices you have there, there's like 22 or so dumpster loads out of the street department. That sound about right? That was just, but you didn't have, that's not even the whole year.
No, that's not. But there it is. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one.
It seems like those dumpsters are considerably cheaper than what.
Yeah, because they charge us $150 for
Right.
the dumpster, and
And
then
that's just for
over
tip,
on
the $150 is just for them to tip it
yeah,
and empty it.
but
So
then
that's, and then
the rate on top of that,
tonnage.
the tonnage.
yeah, that's where it's really,
Yeah.
the price really hits hard, is where that tonnage fee
Yeah.
comes in.
So there's not a flat fee?
No.
No, because they're charging us the 150 and then the tonnage, which is probably somewhat maybe to our
I
advantage to a
think
certain
it's
degree.
probably more accurate and to the city's advantage, because if you were just a citizen needing a dumpster, that 30-yard dumpster would cost you probably $500.
Yeah,
And they don't charge you for tonnage, and you don't get multiple bills, but it's $500 is more than what we're paying with the tonnage.
So what yardage are the dumpsters out there? Are they 30-yard
30.
dumpsters?
And like I say,
So what's the
that,
average cost per dumpster? If you average out that cost of tonnage and the flat rate?
I don't have some of those committed to memory, but I'm trying to think how much tonnage charge there was on some of those invoices.
Just for the community cleanup dumpsters, I would say you're somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 250
Yeah.
when you add the tonnage into it.
Plus the dump, or with the dumping.
No, the tonnage is on top of
It's
the.
$150 for the dumpster, and then there's a tonnage fee based on the weight of the dumpster when it arrives at Best Way, and that takes the cost up to $200 to $250.
So it's about, say, $300 on the high end per 30-yard dumpster.
On the high end.
Yeah.
So if you take, I mean,
And we've gone through 22 and we're not.
I mean, this
Just
was
barely
just
halfway
the
through.
tonnage fees in 24.
What is that amount?
The tonnage fees
3,300.
alone were 3,300.
Yeah.
Like I said, it, just to tip the dumpster every time is $150.
so that's just tonnage, that doesn't
Yeah.
count the.
That doesn't count the
Just
tipping.
tonnage.
Yeah. So, I mean, logistically speaking, if you're going to keep the dumpsters and we don't want it to keep costing, you'd figure out the average of that cost per dumpster and divide that by, I don't know, 15. So each person has the access to a yard-ish to cover those costs, and
It's
That's the cost.
$3,300 for 22 dumpsters, right?
that doesn't count the $150.
Plus the,
That was,
Also
33
20.
was just the tonnage.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
he's doing, is dividing, telling you how much it is
just
per
the
dumpster.
tonnage,
Oh.
$150.
plus the 100.
So
it's 300.
150 times 22, and then you add that to the 3,300, and then you divide that by 22, and that's gonna give you an average.
And
Did you do that?
In 24, we had $3,000 just,
So it's about $300 or so.
yeah.
It says 150 plus 150. Right?
Right.
Times 22.
150 times 22,
Yeah.
and then that number plus the 3,300.
So I come up with 305. I just figured it's $6,700 came
So
up with
if you
304.
divide that, whatever that number is, if
so
you
say
divide that by
roughly-
15,
You're looking at roughly $300.
so
depending
what's
on
300 divided by 15?
the 20.
20.
So $25 if we want to keep the dumpsters and it not continue to cost the city a lot of money because cuts are coming. That's something to look at. It's $20 or $25 to drop 1 yard off, which would be a truckload. So that's a thought.
Well, and that's why I'd say we've got two choices. We either charge a fee that's adequate to take care of the cost, or we eliminate the service, and we just have to, eliminating the service, we have the downside of not getting
Shit
things
pile
cleaned
up
up,
in your yard.
I
stuff
think
piled
you're
up.
running the same thing if you charge me.
If we,
Is
well,
$3,300 that much?
well,
Well, I mean,
In the grand scheme of things?
that's
you
not,
got
that's not a very
3,000
long
for the
period of
tip
time.
trees, 33's the tonnage. I mean, you got,
That's not the whole year.
yeah, that's not,
And that
well,
was,
that was just 24.
was that all of 24?
That was
Okay.
just 24.
Okay.
But I'm saying,
But
I think you're gonna run into trouble.
Is there do we have any ordinances about trash in yards?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if you don't let them do it, or you make them pay for it, they're not gonna do it.
Right.
That's the only flip side to it.
Well, our biggest problem is the cleaning out houses and filling up the dumpster. And we always have the problem of landlords, one way or another, figuring out how to get it dumped, doing that, because they don't want to absorb the cost.
Well, it's interesting that no other
But-
communities around us have the dumpsters.
Right.
It's not a service that is provided by,
No.
I'm pretty sure probably all of us have paid money out of our own pocket to rent a dumpster to get rid of trash. So, I know it's not a decision we have to make today, but something to think about.
I
And
just think it encourages, you know what I mean, on the flip
Trash
side of it,
buildup.
just encourages them to,
So
That's
there- also the-
exactly why we started doing it.
Yeah.
It's
So the
just,
alternative could be if you get rid of the one that's there all the time and doing the community cleanup days, but you just do it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and there's a limited amount of dumpsters, and when they're gone, they're gone.
and I'm good with that either way. What we did last spring, fencing it in, containing it, checking IDs seemed to be appropriate, and it seemed to greatly reduce the sheer number of dumpsters that we went through.
And that would help too with the monitoring, because you're just doing it in a specified amount of time, so you just have to have someone down there for that specific time. and it helps with the trash, and you can control how much your expenditure is for that year versus I have no idea how much this tonnage is going to be. If you say here is how much we're going to provide.
And it still encourages people to clean it up.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, we're still giving
I just
some,
hate to see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
hate
yeah,
to see
you-
that opportunity go away.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've used the community cleanup dumpsters before, so.
Because about the time they don't have access to it, they're just not gonna do it.
I tend not to use them just because I have the luxury, my business has a dumpster sitting there all the time, and I usually don't fill it much,
Right.
so I've got,
Trickle it in there over a couple weeks.
so I can do whatever I want when it comes to that, use what
That-
I'm already paying for, so.
If you do
But
that,
nobody
it
else
would,
has that. Very
it
few
would
other
allow
people
to
have
have
that
more
advantage.
control over that cost.
Yeah.
So. And the control over the checking the IDs and having that time frame versus trying to do it every day or whatever, so.
If we had a case where we were large enough where we had at our street department location somebody working on site all the time in a position where there's somebody on site, then I think you could logistically pull off the charging for a load and so forth. But when we have to stop at the city building, get your permit, they've got to call somebody on the radio, interrupt what they're doing to go down, unlock the gate, and then we've got in the
It's gonna become a part-time job.
did they really show up with the same
Probably,
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Between the two,
So-
between up here and down there.
So it's
Yeah, it is.
logistically a bit of an issue trying to charge for it in that regard. So I would say that Sarah's idea has a lot of merit, or that combination of ideas has a lot of merit.
We can always try it. I think doing something is better than eliminating it altogether.
And I at the same time, I don't think we ought to make a hard decision today with just the
Right.
three of us here.
If it's
but-
gonna be left out, I think the other problem too, like if Thacker's dealing with someone that we really need to get cleaned up, like, I don't know that eliminating it
Well,
completely.
see, we're still gonna have a dumpster
Okay.
there.
And then it can be a case
Because
by case.
the
with
street
city,
department
you know.
has to have that dumpster there for use anyway, so
'Cause there's some
that's a
times
good
he gets
point,
into
is that you
some-
could still,
Some messes, and it's, you know, if they're willing to clean it up, sometimes you gotta jump on the opportunity, yeah.
I'm thinking, do we have a mechanism where we approve, where we have an emergency authorization where Kyle, through chain, Kyle determines a problem that somebody needs to do this, confers with Steve, because that way you've got backup on the whole thing, so it's not just on you. Sometimes I like that where you go through a couple channels so that
Just
it's
open
not
the gate
one
for
guy that
everyone.
just got hammered for a decision he made,
Right.
And so then where we don't have to come to the Board of Works to approve something, but we can set it up where you guys can on the daily do the job and approve it, where if you need to relieve a problem, use that dumpster.
I mean, I just think it'd be, you get some time where they finally decide they're gonna clean up. You gotta let them.
Yeah, we'll never take that away.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll have a dumpster in that
I mean, worst
fence now.
worst
And you
case,
just limit the
I can
dumpsters
just
to
use a
one-
dump
one
truck and
month
get it
or-
out of there.
I'll probably spend
But
that.
Yeah,
Might have-
When-
Yeah.
when it's
that's
full,
not always
it's
ideal
gonna be-
either.
Yeah.
But
Get
that's worst
access to
case.
it.
right.
Right, $200 a month.
Okay, well, we'll continue on this and
I think the high side would be okay with doing the community cleanup days 3 or 4 times a year also. I think that coordination would be beneficial.
yeah, I think we did multiple days. And if that's workable, I think that last time it was proved that it's,
I'd be curious what the numbers look like if you take out that event.
if you didn't have the event.
Right. What the
Well,
numbers look like.
but
on a
that
regular-
wasn't including the event.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
No, that was
no.
just the dumpster at the
And that was
street
how
department.
many dumpsters was the community cleanup?
19.
Yeah,
So you're just
that
doubling
that was a chunk of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and,
I thought that was all inclusive. I was like, oh.
No.
well, I mean.
And,
there
but
are a
you
lot
could
of
limit it
guys-
to like, you could say we're gonna do, if we,
Well,
we split the cost.
it was
then-
19 and 24 when it was an absolute free-for-all. I think we went
Yeah.
through 6 or 7
Yeah.
this
In the
past
fall.
spring.
Or, yeah, Yeah.
That was crazy.
So you have more
Yeah.
control
Yeah.
that way.
But we were really trying to send a message to get this crap out of this
Mm-hmm.
community, and we
I think they
did.
did good.
We
Yeah.
successfully did that, but we can't do that every year because it was ridiculously.
Yeah.
Because that event, you're doing just as many as you're doing a whole year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or at least last year you did.
Mhm.
Well, the man hours it took
Yeah,
to do that
To clean it
was
up after the
Clean
fact
it up
was
after.
ridiculous.
crazy.
yeah.
But I knew that was going to be the
Well,
fault.
it was like a ribbon cutting too. I think it was good to get it done and do it that way the first, you know,
Mhm.
first rip. Because it did a lot. I mean, it did clean out a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I cleaned up half of Winchester and Greenville.
Okay, 6:30 Jefferson Avenue discussion. I don't know if Sarah's aware of what's that situation is or not. Steve, you've had more experience or more conversation with that?
Yeah, my conversation's limited. So, 630 Jefferson Avenue is requesting that some yard work be performed based on the water line project from 2015. They do have a fire hydrant in the northwest corner of their property. Northwest, is that?
Yeah,
Northwest
northwest.
corner of the property. I would say that it sets on or about the property line. He's provided some quotes for everybody to take a look at, one from Lawson's, one from Spencer, and one from Banda. The scope of works for all three estimates are a little bit different as far as what they're identifying they need to be done. In conversation with the mayor, they're wanting what I would identify as a significant amount of topsoil and tapered out and some low spots in the yard fixed. I haven't had a conversation with the property owner. This property owner purchased a house in 2018, so I don't know how to answer the questions that may be coming up, but I think there's other ways to do this other than hiring a third-party contractor, in my personal opinion.
So what's the issue is just aesthetics?
Well,
Or is it
standing,
causing
claim
Okay.
of standing water. Now,
Okay.
I haven't witnessed the standing water.
Me neither.
Since this has come up in recent time, we haven't had enough rain to see anything stand, so but there's been complaint of standing water, or, drainage issue there.
Yeah, and this,
So this was 10 years ago and they bought it 7 years ago and it's an issue today?
so this does not address the drainage issue because that was
Yeah.
done by Mr. Ryskowski, who is no longer with us, and he obviously built and designed it, and the mayor indicated it does nothing to address the drainage, which he also wants to address, but it doesn't address that. The council in 2021 maybe had a survey done by our engineer on call, and that to address the drainage, the stormwater in the area and the localized flooding, I think that was $170,000 to get it connected to the city's storm line in the park.
And of course, one, the only real concern, or, they're talking about 30 yards of material, and I don't see where there's not 30 yards of settling. It's not because, it's not just settling. So if there was a problem here, it's been here since this thing was done. The only thing that I'm concerned about at all is that if there's flooding around the fire hydrant, I don't want to have a scenario where there's standing water this deep around the fire hydrant for various reasons, for your purposes.
Frozen.
Frozen. But as far as that, that's not what this scope of work looks like to me. And the thing is that the thing I get concerned about with this is that what's the precedent we set? If we come in and fill a low area in a yard that we touched
10 years ago.
10 years ago, and which is really in a water connection that's really, you know, normally the homeowner's responsibility. We were just the facilitator in it.
So what was the
So-
work, was that when you were connecting the water lines?
Right.
But that was hired, like, the city didn't do that work,
Correct.
did they? Like,
Right.
we
It's
had to
done by
pay to
Cooley
have that work
Contracting.
done.
Cooley,
Yeah.
Cooley put that in,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Do they not typically have to put things back the way it started?
And I mean, one could contend that it was put back the way it was. I mean,
and I'm sure it was signed off by engineers and so forth, that
It
they,
was probably
their work
low
was signed off.
water before we started the project, would be my guess.
I imagine that's what you gotta figure out
And-
before you purchase it.
And I
So
know,
the city didn't actually do any work there, it was
The
just a
city didn't
requirement
actually
that,
do-
to get
right.
hooked up to the city
Right.
water.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
How much
so-
are the quotes?
Well, the highest quote's 5278.21. The middle one's 3718.25. The lowest is 1615, but that's claimed not enough material. Of course, keep in mind here that these quotes were solicited by the property owner, not by any assessment of ours of what it needs. It was his assessment of what it needs. So that's the other thing, is that we don't have really any control over what's assessed here, what the need is.
So what has been the history of, I mean, you talked about precedent, have there been something like this in the past where somebody's had work done by a private contractor coming in and then having the city pay for it?
we have gone back and addressed things after a year or two, and we've
Yeah.
seeded, we've provided topsoil, we've done some skid loader work, we've done things to help our citizens out after work has been done, but I'm not aware of anything that's gone
Nothing
this
to-
far.
Nothing to this scale by any
And
means, and this
like,
distance.
we've
of time.
got Brackney in town right now doing digging, and they'll be doing warranty work where they've dug for 2 or 3 years. They'll come back and address it.
Yeah.
That's not what this is asking for.
They won't be here 10 years later fixing a low spot.
Now, I think if, I would propose that we communicate with the property owner, go get some baseline elevations and see where the property is high or low, and see what that truly looks like. Right now, we're just going by the complaint, and that was received by Chad. I've not had a conversation, so I think if we got some elevations, we truly have an understanding of where the water stands, what that actually looks like, since we've gone the better part of 2 months with no rain. I think maybe we can purchase some shredded topsoil, or have Wilson shred some of our topsoil and do this work
I-
with our own personnel over a week's long time, and maybe find mediation somewhere.
Yeah.
So the issue is standing water?
I've never had a conversation with the property owner.
Just
I
like if
just
I buy
wonder
my
what
own
question-
house, like, I live on 15 acres and I got a low spot,
Yeah, I just wonder, like,
I bought
because
the house.
I think about, you mentioned the park, like, I think about how much and if we're going in to fix property for private homeowners versus public property, like, I don't know how that's going to be.
This is a bad conversation, and like I said, if we would have known about it 2 or 3 years after Cooley's was done with the work, they would have come in and remediated it.
Right.
talk about budget shortfalls.
Well,
It's a lot of money.
and to add, I'll muck this up a little bit more, and that is that the house to the north of this house is comparatively new compared to the rest of the houses. It's one of the newer homes in that neighborhood, and there's some water issues there.
That's what I'm
there's
just
one
wondering.
contractor, one contractor recently deceased, did some work there because they had some serious water issues there and water in crawl space. So this house 630 was built and the water was flowing through and probably getting away, and then when the new house was built in that corner, it probably changed some features a bit, and so then there's some question about what changed that we had no control of.
I mean, this, in like the grand scheme of things, you could probably get this done for a fairly cheap amount, but if you multiply that by 25, 30, 50, 150 people who come and say, hey, I also have a low spot because of work that was done on my property 10 years
Right.
ago, then that's,
Exactly.
now we're talking tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars, which could fix the standing water at the park, which is public access.
Right.
So, I don't.
Well,
think
yeah,
that's-
because
I agree.
I don't
It's a
know,
very-
is there a low spot where your water line comes in? We
Um,
looked at it, maybe there might be. So do we have to come fix yours and everybody else in the neighborhood?
yeah,
10 years
no,
later.
I don't think, I mean, I don't think
And-
there is,
and,
but
you know,
there's a
these
little spot
things-
in our yard, yeah, you're welcome to fix it if you'd like.
And that's the concern I have about setting that precedent. You know, I've got my side yard, there used to be a house where my side yard is, tore that house down in '98, I think. And about 5 years ago, all of a sudden, I've got some settling that happened. The guys that did it did a pretty good job, and all of a sudden it settled, and I've got some low spots in the yard 20 years, almost about 20 years later.
Well, I'm gonna imagine that's why that work is warranted for those few years, because
Yeah.
like, things do settle.
But
Just
like
like
you
a home,
said-
if your home is
Right.
built and in 10 years your foundation starts to settle and you get a crack, the homeowner is probably not gonna come back in 10 years and say, yeah, let me pay to
Right.
prop your house up. That's on me
Yeah.
as a homeowner. I gotta pay the thousands of
Yeah.
dollars.
Like you
to
said, a
prop
house
my
building
home up.
beside them could very well cause more
Some
issues
issues.
with the
It's-
flow of the water. I mean,
It's a multitude of issues.
yeah.
And we've got other issues there that where water doesn't flow because the water was supposed to be run on the surface, and there were some gentle side ditches, and people filled the side ditches.
Yeah.
So now the water's not flowing down the side ditch like
That would
it was
just be a
supposed
chunk
to.
of money to take from other things
Yeah,
to fix something that's
yeah.
maybe not the city's problem.
Yeah, I mean, I would say having a conversation to figure out what exactly is the issue and who's really at fault here and whose responsibility is it to fix
Yeah.
this issue.
Right. Okay, well, I think Steve's proposal there of going into this is legitimate to me, or worthwhile endeavor to me, in the right direction, so we'll go from there. Okay, don't have any visitors, so anybody have any other comments? Okay, next.
Oh, I do have one more thing. So there's a city truck parked outside. I need the Board of Works permission to utilize that vehicle so I don't get my Jeep dinged or whatever when I'm checking on the construction project that's going to be going on for the next couple of years for the water treatment plant. I'm not taking it home, I'm not doing anything but driving it during the day so that I'm not putting my Jeep off-road or whatever.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second her motion, and Sarah and I will vote
Aye.
aye. And clarifying that the city manager has authorization to use a city vehicle. I don't think you actually need it, but we'll make it formal.
I'm sure I'll be a social media target for that, so I wanted to make sure that that
will
was
be.
asked before I drove it. So
Actually,
That's
You already
your
are.
hard one.
Okay. Date of next Board of Works meeting, Monday, September 22nd, 1:45 p.m. in this room. Sorry,
In this
Harry.
room?
In this room.
Is our budget meeting in here this afternoon?
we will probably meet in here or the community room according to the mayor.
Okay.
And you're supposed to be in this one.
This one?
Somebody, oh, you got yours taken care of?
no,
No,
I'm
this is
coming
Wednesday.
this afternoon.
Oh, you are coming this afternoon?
Yeah, so it'll be in here or it'll be in the community.
What's going on over there? Is it closed?
So Banker's Life has subleased the space, and as they grow and add insurance agents, they're going to be needing the conference room a couple days a week for their meetings. So one of the days they need it is on Monday, and to avoid any conflicts of schedule, we just moved it over here.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
First,
Second.
As far as you're aware.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, folks.